out. It's just pretty much the plan that the county has come up with a goal to identify, assess, and possibly mitigate and reduce the risks from general disasters like floods or severe weather or hazardous materials and all that. And it identifies the impact on people, property, environment, and economy, and hopefully comes up with not a solution, but a plan to mitigate the effects. And the thing is, the whole county has to approve this, because if it doesn't, then the whole county is not eligible for FEMA money if something happens.
This is an update to the previous one.
Right.
Right. And this was, the previous one was 2004. This one is starting in 2013. And so we've been involved in this in the past, but I think that it's very important. But it's, I want to be sure that we're all the areas of the application has been, of the plan has been completed. And I believe there's some portions of the plan, I reviewed it, there's portions of the plan that, for information that has to be completed as far as the updating before it gets sent. And there was something with the wastewater treatment plant that we haven't quite addressed yet, or we're on that ready.
Do you know about that?
I didn't know there was anything.
Yeah, I didn't actually know anything. I went to the meeting last year. I believe this year, you went to the meeting, if I'm not mistaken. I went last year for sure.
No, I didn't go to any meetings. I
You did not? Okay.
wasn't hold any meetings.
I did, and I believe Steve, the mayor, Steve Keefe, went too. I went last year.
Mhm.
And it wasn't anything, any talk about wastewater treatment plan, but we can review the plan and see if there is any information that needs to be.
There wasn't much left that needed to be completed. I spoke with Lieutenant Ryan from the fire department, who was worked on that, and maybe he could clean that up for me a little bit.
There's just a few blanks that need filled in as far as the trustees and their contact information, and then
That's easy.
a phone tree from like the wastewater treatment plant, the sewer plant.
Right.
Everything else is pretty much completed.
Yeah, like I said, it wasn't that much, but we should make sure it gets done. There is a timeline on this. They do want to get it done. So it's been quite a while since this thing has been going on.
Yeah, I believe we
So
are.
we have to be in,
community food.
all the portions of it should be completed. I know some of the communities don't necessarily fill out at all, but as far as the village having a complete plan, it is quite important for the village to have their a complete plan, because in case something should ever happen.
Sure. Can we make sure that we can fill up everything?
I had forwarded it to Rick a couple weeks ago, email-wise, to distribute out and review, and go from there.
As a resolution, I don't know. Is it just to forward this, the final plan to the county, the resolution?
The county already has it. The county is the one that's distributing it, as far as I know.
The county put together the plan.
Right.
And then they call the municipalities to accept the plan.
Right. So
That's pretty much it.
I mean, if there was something missing, I would have thought that they would have called and said, you need to fill in this section and this section.
That's right.
So I never.
The last letter I had, I think I forwarded to everybody, was just to pass the resolution. So we are,
And I know we have a hazard mitigation plan for the reservoir that I forwarded to Ryan to fill in most of that contact information.
Right,
I forgot about the wastewater treatment plant because that's either lot.
That's
The one
separate.
that I forwarded to you is village-specific all hazard mitigation plan.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be pulled out in a step-by-step process for the village.
Right.
And that's what the county we would be updating with the county. That's what they want. To pass this, I guess that we would be, to stay involved, that they want is what they want. They want us to pass the resolution. So as part of this complete process, we have to pass the resolution. Is that the correct understanding?
yes.
Okay.
So Ryan, you'll make the corrections or the needed additions, and we should be all set.
And, well, he sent it to Rick for those, some areas that had to be filled in for, as far as updating, as far as trustees or
Information.
contacts and layer of contact as far as who gets contacted first and down the line. And that would be from this office.
Okay,
And that's all. Yeah, very straightforward. There wasn't a whole lot left.
Yeah, I'm sure
Ryan did a lot of work on it.
there's
He spent a lot of time developing this, or putting this plan together,
Right.
so.
I'm sure if there is any, missing information, that will come back to village. So, okay, let's do that and get it over with. Anything else on that? And then we retaining services of Mark Butler, PLLC, for creation of paid fire chief position. That was put in the budget, if you remember, and now we are going ahead with conducting Mr. Butler to actually create the position for the village. So we can go to the next step. That's pretty much it, right? Yeah. I think on that.
Yeah, because I've already worked with civil service, and we're setting that up with civil service too. So you have to set it up separately with civil service.
That's not a civil service position, is it?
Yes.
It is?
Yeah.
Okay, so it is a civil service position. Okay. We have a resignation of Scott Hennessy of the wastewater treatment plant. You have the letter. Resignation of Timothy Franzen, part-time police officer. Mr. Hennessy, I just want to wish him the best. And then request from Fredonia School permission to hold annual homecoming parade on Thursday, September the 28th, 2017. I'm planning to go there. Hire of 2 part-time officers, police officers. And then hire seasonal labor for the Department of Public Works. We have this year's Feeding Fredonia Challenge from the Presbyterian Church. And I believe it's somebody here from the church.
I thought Reverend Wickham was going to be here, but maybe she'll be at the meeting.
Yes, Cynthia, yes. She
Yeah.
said somebody's going to be in. I mean, the idea is the same as last year.
Yeah.
They just want the village's approval.
Nice
and,
meeting.
Absolutely. It's a
you know,
great
It's a
thing.
great idea, a great thing. So, wish them the best. And then we have a list extension for the library. What happened about 2 weeks ago, they came to see me and they are eligible and they're applying for a grant to update the inside of the library. More specifically, they're going to do new bathrooms, new air conditioning and heating unit. They're going to change the windows. I think that's, and the carpet. They're going to change the carpet. Altogether about $105,000. They don't require any money from the village. The only thing they require, the grant is $75,25. The only thing they require is a letter stating that after the completion of the work, which they think is going to be in about a year from now, July of 2018, they're going to be allowed to stay in the building for another 10 years at least. The point of discussing it is that the lease that we just signed is 10 years, so they're going to be a year short. But I thought they needed the update, so maybe we can extend the lease so to cover them.
Before we move on, I have a question. I thought at our last meeting, didn't we just hire another seasonal worker over at DPW?
I
So
think
did somebody leave and then we're bringing another one back on?
Yeah, that's what's happening. Kids are going back to
They're going to
school, so the
school.
ones that are going back to
Okay.
school need to be replaced. We're coming into they're going to be paving, they're going to be leaf pickups and limb pickups and stuff like that, so.
Just as long as we stay
They-
within the budget,
Yes,
right,
yeah, I think
for the
there's,
seasonal workers?
might be, I don't know, 4,000 to 6,000 hours
Yes.
in the budget.
Yeah, it said that in the letter that there were hours left that
Yeah.
hadn't been filled.
Yeah, so we're
So
we're
we're
within,
okay.
Okay.
we're within our budget right now. Good question.
Then we have the buildings inspector's report for July 2017. The justice report for August 2017. The countywide shared services initiative projects. Pretty much everybody knows what this is. In the new budget, the governor has passed and the legislature has approved a countywide, all over New York State, referendums about shared services. What this is this. The county executive, along with municipal leaders, they come up with a plan, with a list of plans where we can have shared services or consolidations between villages, between different departments, anything and everything we can think about, we can think of. The reason being that the belief is that if we do that, we're going to save money and, of course, by that maybe even have less taxes. The county has come up with the list of projects that I gave to everybody. In the first, the 2018 referendum, Fredonia and Dunkirk are trying to cooperate at the wastewater treatment plant. My initial thought was a full consolidation between the two, but apparently it didn't make sense financially. So what we're doing actually is we're consolidating a part of it. And the idea is that the village is going to get some money and the city of Dunkirk is going to save some money. So this is a good plan. I fully support it. And I'm hoping the trustees are in support of it as well. Now, as everybody knows, we keep talking about sharing a building, police department, police facility with the city of Dunkirk. We went back and forth quite a few times. I still don't believe that this is a good idea, but I'm open to all the possibilities. Good news is that it's not in this year's proposed budget projects, but not until the year 2020. Now, about a week ago, I spoke with somebody from the county, and I wanted to make sure that if I vote yes tomorrow, and my vote is not a matter of if I want or not, I have to vote. So if I vote yes tomorrow, we're not going to be held to that vote to 2020 if we decide that the shared police facility is not something that we're interested or makes sense for us. He said we're not. I asked him to put it in writing. He sent me an email. I sent it to all of you. So tomorrow, my proposition is that I vote yes and I'm going to give them a written statement where I say that the police department, which is in 2020, we believe that still not has proven something that is going to be good for the village, and we reserve the right to pull it later.
That's correct. They haven't done the feasibility study for it yet, so we have no idea one way or another,
No.
so that's a good
No,
reason
what
why.
they done, if you read the report, and I'm sure you did, is they say that if you build two separate facilities, it's going to be about $7 million. So if we build one facility, it's going to be probably about 5.5. So this is the savings. To me, that doesn't make any sense. It's like, me and my neighbor want to buy a car, one car each. So together, maybe we have to spend $10,000, but my money comes out of my pocket and his money comes out of his pocket. So by saying we buy one car and spend like $7,000, doesn't mean that I actually save money, because I can go out and buy a car for $3,000, let's say. So that doesn't, to me, is not enough to say that it's a good proposal.
But can you also consider the fact that if you go on your own, the funding may not be there as there is with the shared facility in these kind of projects? That's a main concern, that the funding is not there.
So we have to
Well, actually,
think.
my concern on this itself is that they're not saying that there's any funding. This initiated from the proposed grant, where they had as hopes that we would get a grant for such a facility, the $20 million grant. They brought all these communities together to come up with these ideas, the dangling of the carrot, if you will. But then this is where all these projects came from, and now they're saying they want us to put projects together, the same projects, that would possibly show savings if you combine them or shared the services. But they're not saying that you're going to be getting any money. They're saying is they believe there may be savings if you do this, and they want you to continue investigating in the process until it is completed. And whether that's the direction we want to go or not, I don't know. And whether they're going to hold us to it or not, right now, as they claim, the police department wouldn't be on the schedule until 2020, but the wastewater treatment would be currently. But they're not even saying that actually they're going to find us money for the wastewater treatment plant in this study that the state wants.
No, that was never the point.
No, they're saying a possible savings. So they're not claiming funding for this. This is where I'm a little leery about the police department part. So, and also, is this going to be an every year thing? Are they going to require something new every year? So if we put, yeah, and currently on the list, you have the countywide fire services initiative. You have the countywide water district that we're not involved with, but others are. The Duncan Fredonia shared facilities and the Gary Charlotte merger and Sinclairville dissolution and Cherry, and a bunch of other things in here that are on this schedule. But as my thought is just that, do we have to put all of our eggs in this basket now? Or should we just put in what is required, and then when it's required again, do we look at another one? If it's not going to be there until 2020 anyhow, I don't know. But that's,
For this year, we only have one project.
And this is the thing that's coming up for vote every year, right? The state has required counties
That's right. So
to bring this to a vote every single year.
Every year.
Every year.
Right, so it could change.
At least this year and next year, actually, that's what the budget said. That if this year doesn't pass, then you have to put it again next year. And in this project list for this year, we only have one project. Everything else doesn't include us, include other parts of the county. Well, my problem with the referendum is there. People from Ripley, let's say, are going to be called to vote on our wastewater treatment
Right.
plant. And people from Fredonia are going to be called to vote on Lakewood's dissolution. That I'm not very comfortable, but it's in the budget. The budget has passed, and we can't do anything about it. We have to abide by it.
Well, the plan was for a county-wide regional grant based on all these different projects. So you have to look at it and.
These are two different
These are
things.
two separate things.
These are
Yeah.
two separate things. We have to do the referendum no matter what. And then there is this $20 million that is going to go only to one county out of the whole state. And the state of the Chautauqua County, County of Chautauqua, has applied for that as well. So once one county is going to take the $20 million, the rest of the counties, it's up to us to find the money to do
the things in
And
the
the point is not to find the money. The point is they believe that it's going to be so good this consolidation, shared services, whatever we decide to do, that we're going to save money enough, and this savings is not going to be for 1 or 2 years, it's going to be consistent for years to come. That's the idea of that. So I'm just trying to say that they're two different things. We can get the grant or not. Still, we have to, we're going to be called upon to vote on the referendum. And that's going to happen. But for this year, we only have one project. Everything else doesn't include us.
So what are the requirements if you vote the referendum and it passes for this year? You read page 22. For example.
The requirements for 2018 is that if the referendum is approved, then all the projects that you see there, the municipalities have to take the necessary steps to go to the next, the next level until they are completed. Now, even those, if they are subject to permissive referendums, let's say, by the village, and the village votes no, still you don't have to do it.
Okay.
Okay.
Because I'm looking at page 22 here where there's a combined capital improvement cost of $4 million. So we're saying, sure, we like this idea, but we don't have any money coming from the grant yet, but we're supposed to start
And
this
probably
right away.
we won't.
Right,
Probably
that's my concern on
You know,
this.
I mean, there's lots of savings, there's tons of reasons to do it, but.
There's no guarantee that any of it's
Right,
going to
there's
work.
$4 million
Yeah.
of capital cost, and we recommend we have one operator, fine, that's how you consolidate. And that will save money, but are we going to have one operator? Which is done, I mean, have we had that?
Well,
those kind of
again, as we said,
conversations yet?
as we said, there's no feasibility study up to now, so we don't know exactly. You can compare. This is what it's going to cost you by yourself if you stay the way you are, and this is your new facility, and this is what it's going to cost you again if you go to a shared facility. So this very general number that the two communities together are going to save an estimate of $20 million or $5 million over the next 20 years, it's to me.
They're estimating
What's ours
200.
and what's theirs?
Right, they're estimating
know.
a combined shared for the
Right.
wastewater treatment plant of $215,000 a year.
But then again, I
But we don't
believe
know where the
that
percentage is, right.
the county executive told you that if Chautauqua County gets the grant, then they're going to have the feasibility study for the shared facility.
Right, and I thought that's what the whole goal of that separate whole program was that they get the grant, and then they would provide the studies, feasibility studies and comparisons, and then we would go from there, if that was the case.
But that was never, and they never connected this
I
two.
know,
It's
well,
totally
this is,
different.
but that's what I'm saying, seems to be something, because in the letter, it did say ongoing, the ongoing efforts.
Yeah.
Ongoing to what extent? Ongoing, does that mean that then we have to come up with feasibility study money? We have to come up with engineering
No.
study? We have to come up with this money to make this happen so that we could save $200,000, which maybe there's alternatives or something, but it might be more than worth it, I don't know. But
The point is that I believe that for 2020, the mayor has to vote again. And as the mayor, I have the flexibility and the option to pull it off. I can go there and I say, we're going to pull it off this. But I don't believe I have to do it now because this is for 2020 and it's not required at this moment. That's what I think.
Have you had discussions with the county executive or anything on all this? I mean, have you been clarified on any of your questions? I mean, it seems like we're still
Yes,
up in the air.
that's why the letter that they sent me and I forwarded to you.
That was from Dan Reisenhout. But I mean,
Yes, well, he was
But they also had a meeting there the Tuesday after our last meeting. I thought you were going to that.
I wasn't able to, I was sick.
But I mean,
I know you went.
Yeah, I didn't realize we had these questions, otherwise I could have asked them, but I mean, these are the situations where,
But I asked the questions already, I got the answers. I'm sure the answers are, again, I have to go out tomorrow and I have to vote, and I have to explain my vote. So, what do you think? The vote is for tomorrow, it's not, we don't have any more time.
I think if it's not binding and you can pull things that are not going to be good for the village and you can, I think we kind of have to go forward with this because I think it's something that we need. We've been talking about doing this, the, wastewater treatment issues. You've been talking about this before this even came up.
I think
So I
that's a
think
good
it's worth
idea.
pursuing.
I really think
If it's going to
that's a good
save some money,
idea.
again, we don't really know, but if it's going to save some money, I think it's worth pursuing. If the other things can be changed or altered later.
Certainly, the wastewater, and Phyllis was in on that, wastewater treatment plant, composting seemed to be a feasible operation where there might be some savings for both communities, but I don't know why the rest of that actually has to even be in there.
I was going to say it too, I have a different interpretation of how that was. I think what they really wanted to do is just to get every municipality to have some kind of a project so that would enhance our chance of getting the grant.
Right.
And so I know in the beginning they were pushing and they had the consolidation. It wasn't shared, it was consolidation of the police department. That was not the direction that this board had wanted to go. But we did sit in and we talked about the composting, and I thought Betsy you were there in that, she gave a really wonderful presentation, why some of it would work, why the other one worked, and everything. I'm almost feeling that it's the putting the cart before the horse. I mean, I agree, I thought there would be more information in regards to it.
As I said, I don't agree with the referendum, but it's not up to me. They passed it. The state of New York has passed it. So we need to put something for a referendum this year.
Right, and the county chose this for us, is the problem, is what I have. Instead of us choosing what we want.
The wastewater treatment plant was my proposal.
Right, the wastewater treatment plant was, yes, but
as
as a combined effort on the countywide shared services, to what extent, like I said.
everything else is not, it doesn't include us, so it really doesn't have anything to do with us.
Right, as what we're voting, what you're going to be voting for. But the thing is that's a whole committee of people that are going to be voting for this one package. So that you're going to have one voice.
Yes.
One voice for this whole package out of how many? It was 41 members. And I mean, it's almost like we're being railroaded into this kind of thing, whether we like it or not. That's why I didn't like the idea of having more than we have to in there all at once. But as long as, I mean, as you pointed out, as long as it is clear that when you make the statement that we don't have to be involved with anything else other than the wastewater treatment plant at this time, to pursue that avenue, like I said, it says in the conclusion, this is an ambitious 3-year plan.
Well, about that, I say that it is our understanding that projects listed for subsequent years are not included in today's vote, and as they are in infant state, and their effectiveness hasn't been determined. I thought that covers it. You wanted to say something else? You wanted to put something else there?
Is the feeling that the vote is, everybody's going to vote yes because we're in competition for the grant?
No, this
What
is
did
not.
Gary and Charlotte think?
This is not in competition for the grant. This is not the competition part. This is the mandated.
This was going to happen anyways.
Right.
This is the mandated part. This is the part where you
Had
have
to put forward
some.
plans.
The
Right.
county has to put something, either this year, if it didn't pass this year, it would have to go next year. And, but not everyone in the county is even putting something forward. It's just the county has some communities that are putting initiatives forward.
Right, yes.
It's not
that's
every
correct.
community. It's
Yes.
just they chose us and they, because these were some of the projects that were on the table from the grant, and they put this together, including our two major projects.
And of course, some of them, like, let's say, the police station, it's been discussed for years now, as I understand it.
Right.
So they took it and they put it there. And the unfortunate thing is that next year, they're going to come back and say, now what?
Right.
But, well,
Can then you...
going to go there next year.
And do we have to be one of those communities next year? That was my other question, is if some of the communities aren't doing it this year, do we have to be one of those communities next year? Or can the county package include other communities?
Probably not,
Instead.
because the way they put it together, they didn't put anything for us for 2019. They went straight to 2020. As you saw, there's
Right.
nothing. So probably not.
The three-year plan.
Yes,
That's right
probably.
up to 2020. That's why, when you said we were able to pull it, but in the letter it said that we would continue investigating it. I'm a little concerned with that. So maybe we don't want to continue. Maybe it proves, I should say that. Maybe it proves between now
Okay,
and
I can ask again tomorrow just to make sure. Let's say tomorrow morning, somebody comes and gives us $5 million, and they say, this $5 million is to build a new police station. What do? We're still discussing the possibility, or we accept the money, go forward, let's say something like that. I mean,
regardless on how we decide to do it.
Yeah, no,
I mean,
I-
it shouldn't be
just-
like the pie in the sky dream of hopes, but certainly.
I'm not hoping
I
for
mean,
that, I'm just saying that,
I mean,
you know,
that's-
there is a possibility that you find the money from someplace, let's say, and you decide to do it by yourself. Are we still going to be obligated? The way I understand it, no. I mean, I was very specific when I asked, and then I asked him to put it in writing, and he sent the letter that I sent you. I can clarify it further. The point is, if we don't put anything this year, they're going to ask us for something next year. If we put something this year, they're probably going to come back next year and ask for some more. My hope is that this plan is not going to work well all over New York State, because mayors from all over New York State are against it. There is a point when you can't consolidate anymore. There is a point where you cannot cut services anymore. There's a point where you cannot serve buildings anymore. You've done all that.
I mean, as a village, we already share some services with other communities.
Yes.
I mean, so
And then-
we are doing our part. And so they're asking for more, and like you said, more and more and more. At what point are we no longer our community anymore? We're now just a, big conglomerate of county, I guess, without any borders. Because are you the same community? Are you the same government? Are you governing yourself anymore? That's my fear with this, especially with the direction of the county's agenda for control of all the, whether it be the police, the sheriff, with the fire and rescue. They have a very strong goal, agenda on that, and then the water districts. At some point, are we, if we're sharing everything with the city, which the city is financially looked different upon than a village, but we're going to be asked to share a same facility, and those kinds of questions are mine. We're funded differently than from the state. We don't
And
get
these are
$2
all
million, we don't get
questions
$2 million bailouts.
That's right, and these are questions that we
so-
need to be asked. It's just, I'm not sure if I should ask them right now, because if I do, I know the answer is going to be, well, it's not for this year. We don't know yet. Hopefully, we're going to get the money. Hopefully, we're going to get the feasibility. What I want everybody to understand is that none of us will say no if they come and they say, this is how much you're going to need to do it yourself. This is how much you're going to need if you go together, and this is the savings you get, and the savings are good. Nobody's going to say no to that. At least, I won't. But just in a general hope that something like that is going to happen, obviously, I'm not willing to vote or sign anything like that.
I guess the view isn't clear from the end on where the state's going with it. I mean, I can see their estimated dollar amounts, but there is no study
No,
behind it.
no.
These are just guesses.
Yes, that's good.
Absolute guess. But I do agree that in order to move something forward, they're going to request, they're going to do it this year or next year regardless, because they mandate it from the county. So if we do put the, as long as it's clear that the one that we're putting forward this year is just that one, why the other one is in there, but we should have the right period to take
discuss
it
that
out.
as well. Tomorrow I will bring it up to just make sure that it's not binding, if that's all right with all of
Do you
you.
feel that a yes vote would be then appropriate?
Agree?
Yes.
I think so.
Okay.
Phyllis, what do you think?
Yeah, I think we're just kind of caught in it.
Right.
Right.
I get it.
You know what I'm saying, but yeah.
I get it, but we kind of have to, because if we don't do it this year, we have to do it next year. This referendum, unfortunately, is going forward. And as I said, it's not fair for anybody. It's not fair for the village of Fredonia to have people from Jamestown to vote on projects that
In
are going to
Fredonia.
affect only us.
Right.
And the other way around, the same thing. It's not fair for them to have us to vote on their projects.
Absolutely not, I mean, because if it comes down to it, and they make us do it, and it turns out that our cost to the village ends up being more than the savings to another community. Now, it does state in there that it's supposed to
Sustainable savings.
Sustainable savings, but
Yes.
is it sustainable savings have to be for both communities, or is it just a combined savings? In other words, if the neighboring community saves $1 million a year, but this community loses 200,000,
No,
then
no, no.
your combined savings is 800,000.
No.
I mean that's well that's what it has to be. I mean, you have to be sure that this is going to be.
And again,
Realistic.
when we go in, if this passes, let's say, and if we go forward, and if, again, we have to go to the board of trustees to vote on the specific plan.
Yeah,
It's
some of these
not,
have already been voted on, Cherry Creek, these communities have already made these decisions. We're the one
Yeah,
on
with the
here that hasn't.
consolidation, yeah.
Right.
oh, yeah, no,
We're the only one on here that isn't really far along in this process here.
nothing we can do about that.
Yeah,
Right.
You know.
No, it's their.
so they don't have any real skin in the game. is my point.
No.
Right, no, they
right.
don't.
No.
No, that's the thing.
No, they've
They don't
already-
have any.
It's their
Exactly.
nothing to lose.
Right.
Well, all right, I'll let you know what happened.
Okay.
Okay, and then we go, letter from Timothy Winters regarding the boot drive. They had a very good drive. I wish to thank you. It's about over $5,000, I believe.
Yeah, it's 5,300.
$5,300.
That's great.
So they were really
That's
good. Thank you to everybody who gave money.
Mayor,
So-
before we go to old
Sure.
business, I have one more thing under new business, if I could. I have a concern. On Thursday, August 31st, I read an email from our village attorney, Todd Thomas. It concerned me so much that I contacted him personally to discuss the email and seek the truth. I called him the next day to speak with him, and I became deeply concerned after our discussion. He told me he had notified Mayor Landis that he was resigning on Friday, August 25th, 2017. This, by the way, was the Friday before our last Board of Trustees meeting that was held on August 28th. Ironically, it was during that same meeting on the 28th that Todd was appointed the Director of Administrative Services, City Clerk for the City of Jamestown in Jamestown.
It's not ironically, it's because of that.
He has resigned from Fredonia prior to this Jamestown appointment, and we were not told until after the meeting on the 28th by Todd himself in a follow-up email.
Okay.
Todd, let me finish here, please. Todd was actually surprised that the mayor had not relayed his resignation from Friday, August 25th during the public or executive session on August 28th. At the board meeting on August 28th, Todd was noticeably absent, and the meeting started without him present. During the beginning of the workshop, trustee Christina asked if anyone knew if Todd was coming, to which Mayor Landis replied, and I quote, "Todd is not coming tonight." Perfect time to have said that he had resigned from the Friday prior, I would have thought. Mayor, why are you not forwarding important information to this board, especially when discussions are being held on specific procedures in our charter and code and legalities of appointments and alcohol issues in the village, where having a lawyer is imperative to such discussions? I believe this board and the Village of Fredonia residents deserve an explanation why you do not advise us that you knew he had resigned and that you proceeded with your agenda for the evening knowing you had not notified anyone of his resignation. All information and correspondence should be relayed to this board at every meeting, and that includes critical information and day-to-day correspondence. If Todd Thomas had not followed up to communicate directly to our board members that he had resigned previously, we probably would not know he had resigned. To this date, we have had no correspondence from you, from the mayor, who knew of this resignation on August 25th, said nothing on August 28th at the board meeting or executive session, and has said nothing to us since. I guess I will wait while you explain why you are withholding pertinent information about the resignation of our lawyer for the village.
Okay, you read the whole page for one question, and I have a very good answer for that. Todd called me, it was about 4 o'clock the afternoon, and he said, utmost secrecy and confidence. I was offered, and I'm quoting, I was offered the job of clerk administrator at the city of Jamestown by the mayor. However, until it goes to the council, I don't know if I'm going to get the position. I talked to the mayor, he talked to the Mayor Teresi, and Mayor Teresi said he didn't have any problem for him attorney for us until we find a new attorney. He said, I did not call Rick, I didn't say anything to any of the trustees. I will ask you to keep it confident until I tell you to. I ask you to release it. And I said, yes. It was a confidential information. I have no idea why Todd told you that I was supposed to say anything. Actually, I can ask him right now. I can text him and see the response, because that was the reason. The reason is not that I'm withholding information for you. What would be my reason for that?
I don't know.
I don't know either. There is no reason of any sane person. He was resigning. I found out Friday afternoon around 4 o'clock. Actually, it was probably after 4. I can see my phone record. It was after 4, and I happened to be here. And he called me, and he said, and we had some other discussions about other things. He said, I have to tell you something. But his quote was, the utmost confidence. So I respected the confidence. What do you want me to do? Come here and open a meeting and announce to the world?
No, but since that time that he was appointed, we have had no correspondence.
He sent you a letter.
A follow-up?
No, it was not a follow-up.
His words were, this is a follow-up email.
And I don't know why, because I didn't have the first one. That was the first email where he talked to all of you, and he said that he is resigning. To me, he called me, and he said that. He said that the mayor has offered me, it's a full-time job, I have to accept it, it's in Jamestown, I understand all that. And he said, however, I'm going to ask you to keep it in the utmost secrecy. He said, I didn't call specifically none of the trustees, nor Rick. I would think that if somebody calls you and say that it's the utmost secrecy, confidence, you won't go out and say it to the world.
Since the last meeting, don't you think you would have corresponded with us saying, I think we should be looking and thinking about a new replacement for our village attorney? I
thought that goes without saying. And actually, at the meeting, I was going to announce that we're looking for a new attorney. I don't think I have to say that. Yes, we need an attorney. I'm putting together a committee to revisit the code about the alcohol, and I have no attorney, so I can't put together the committee. No, I did not write an email. I thought everybody understands that. We don't have an attorney, looking for an attorney. As you saw, I wrote a lot of emails last week about many, many different things.
And
I
none of
didn't
them
write-
were concerning the village attorney and not having.
You knew about that. It was nothing to come with me, to do with me. You knew about that. My emails are to inform you of things that you don't know and see how we're going to go ahead. So if you expected an email from me, I apologize. I didn't even think about it.
Okay.
But that was the reason, and please put it on the minutes that Todd called me after hours, and he asked me to keep it in utmost confidence.
When did he consider his last day with the village?
Actually, he's still attorney for us as much as he can to finish anything that we have started.
I thought he said he would be willing to work with us on an as-needed
And
basis.
when I asked him, I said, maybe it's not going to be easy for us to find an attorney. He said, well, it can be 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, or 2 years. Obviously, we cannot be for 2 years without an attorney here, especially because the main problem is that Monday night, like
Yeah, he
tonight,
should be
he
here
isn't
tonight.
on his meetings. He's on the other meetings. Otherwise, he was going to be here until he understands his obligations.
But when he accepts a full-time position, he really is not our attorney anymore when he's not here.
I understand it, Mr. Essick, and believe me, it's a big problem in my mind.
Is he then, well, maybe, I was going to say maybe that's something with executive, I just wanted to know about pay-wise. Because I would have thought if he still was, we have Monday night meetings, he should be here if he is our attorney. I'm sorry.
No, that's the thing is, and I don't know if it's executive or not, we are, our choice is to not have it all, not advised by anybody, or have advice by phone or something like that. That's unfortunately.
Well, maybe that's something we really need to address, because I think, of course, being the village, I think we should be a priority. And we need a lot of, because we have a lot of decisions coming up. And I think we need to have an attorney, one way or the other.
I agree.
I don't know.
100%.
Yes, we do.
I agree with that. So instead of the meeting, we're announcing today, now, that the other attorney has resigned. All right, where are we?
Fire hall.
On business, okay, fire hall, I'm sorry. Building enclosure.
Yeah, we're going to be getting the quotes again from the contractors to enclose that building. I'm also going out for engineers to complete the design and engineering of the rest of the building repairs and come the spring. I'd like to go out for that to bid in the middle of winter because you get the best pricing when you do. You don't wait till the contract season, you do it in the winter. So we'll be getting that done relatively quick. We'll come to the board once we get those proposals from, last time there were 3 contractors that put in for get that building just sealed up for the winter and basically get the engineer in there to take a look at the building and see what needs to get done. Draw up the bid specs, have everything ready to go, and then go out to bid.
All right, anything about that? And then we have the sign ordinance. And I had a lot of questions and complaints from the public and from the planning board, actually, as to what is going on with the sign ordinance. So you have it for your review, and I believe you have, if you have any questions or anything.
I didn't get a packet.
I think Rick sent it again. He sent it again.
You don't have it, Phil?
No.
Yeah, I do. You
Okay,
know.
yeah, no,
I
I
I read it,
Doug, do you have one?
or I got it.
Okay.
Okay.
You have one? No? Can I just go snap
Yeah.
a picture of that for Kathy?
What were the concerns? There were some concerns as it's
Well,
written.
yeah, they've got most, this
The
was,
version of this, but what's changed?
well, everything that's, they highlighted in this, this is the one from Sam, and this is the one, his
Oh,
final.
this is a different
Oh, that's the
one.
final one. Well, that's the one he finalized.
Okay.
But
The one he
this is-
forwarded to
right,
us.
The final one he just forwarded to us. And then, I'm going to quickly compare, there's a few items on it. The one thing that, so, they're basically eliminating it. So.
Page.
I don't remember.
I mean, I read this,
Okay.
I read this before I came, so.
On the I read through it, and the most part that, on the most part, and brought it to what was requested of the community requested. But the one area that I particularly think that it wasn't necessarily addressed was in the part that there was a lot of voice, a lot of vocal response from the community on. They was the temporary and portable signs area. Number 4, as far as the limited activities in connection with the principal use or activity on the premises. To what extent, I guess, is the limited activities. But also, it states the temporary and portable signs shall be permitted only in the C1, C2, and M1 districts. But then it goes on, which states that it is available for them, but then it kind of eliminates it down when it says no more than one temporary portable sign for the premises. But that some of the businesses have more than one business in one premises. And each one of the C, D, E, and F all have restrictions on the
Page 4, you
use.
said. On 4.
So I was wondering if Scott could actually help us to understand where that sign code would work with the temporary portable, such as A-frame signs, which was a big part of the discussion from the community. They wanted to talk about that. Is this actually covered in there under that 1B, under B, or does it basically eliminate it? And also the third, I'm sorry, just one more thing. The 30-day thing, that was a big point of concern before. The businesses were hoping to have a seasonal or year-round
Right.
type
Yes.
permit, so that the code enforcement office would know that they had a sign in the street that would have to be removed for the winter months, and they could deal with that. But that's the point of having the permit. But as far as the 30-day, and with a total of 90 days for the year, businesses are open more than 90 days. I mean,
Yeah, we
so-
said that before.
Right,
Right.
and it didn't,
That's
this
what
doesn't
before,
reflect
yeah.
that. So that was one of the big concerns. And also the size. It says a temporary and portable sign shall be more than, not more than 5 feet by 8 feet. That's huge when you're talking about if it's one-sided.
That is huge, 8 feet.
You know, so is it a total of square footage? Is it, you know, what is it? You know, is that, you know, an A-frame sign with the total square footage, or is that the, I mean, something of that size wouldn't even probably be, it would be obstructing the sidewalk, which I know you can't do.
We published a separate ordinance, I think, or at least documents on sandwich board signs, A-frame signs, recognizing that two things. One, impeding right-of-way is an issue,
Right,
but this is not what this is talking about.
okay.
Those are a separate area, and I didn't bring that with me, because I didn't know it was going to be a topic of discussion. I'll certainly get copies of it to everybody.
Okay, so,
So this is different, these portable signs are different than the sandwich board
Yes.
signs, is what we're saying, okay?
Yeah, see, to be honest with you, I had some trouble with temporary and portable signs and the definition thereof, because
Okay.
that even includes the little ones on the wire you stick in the ground, in my mind.
Right.
But, again, our attorney helped us make these distinctions, and we addressed those elsewhere. I think these are the kinds of signs that we see along for a business that are, some of them are on wheels, some are, you know, you change the letters on them every day. They
Okay.
advertise everything from spaghetti dinners to
Okay.
what the business is doing. And there was quite a bit of discussion about that because of the variety. A lot of discussion too on the size. You know, this is kind of like up to,
That makes sense.
and it is just the size of them. If they choose to use both sides, it's still 5 by 8.
okay,
Okay. The number of signs, there's a whole section here that addresses business signs that are attached or permanent. And they're separate from these. And they have other restrictions or allowances. These are just literally that, portable signs that, again, would be seasonal, sure. I'm trying to reread through here real quick about
Right.
the issue for the not more than 30 days in duration. That was,
well, that
was a lot of discussion on that.
wasn't,
And I think that was a compromise that we arrived at.
now would that then,
The idea.
that would not apply then
Go
to,
ahead.
that would not apply then to the, like they said, the businesses wanted the sandwich board style or portable sign, whether it be a sandwich board or a single board that, you know, on legs or something, but.
Yeah, the sandwich boards is, two concerns we had is they not be in the right of way, in the easements. They do not impede the flow of traffic, and we did specify the size of the right of way, which,
So is that a separate resolution that we're gonna have to pass that, on that?
I don't know where
Because it's
that
not in
went.
here.
It's
It
not
must
in,
be.
it's not in
Okay,
this.
I know it's not in here.
Right, and.
How
I-
come it's not in here? I'm trying to understand now. How come it's not in there? Since we discussed it, since you discussed it.
I know at one time Sam was talking about having it in the sidewalk ordinance, is that
Yes,
correct?
that's where we put it.
And that's where it is, so that has not come before us then. And there was also concern on whether the permitting was gonna be, there was a fee associated with that, and we temporarily
Right, suspended.
suspended that
We said
fee
no,
until this was finalized. So then, in that case, I thought that it would be included in this. So what I'm reading, I understand what you're saying now. You're covering a different area with this portion, and the other needs to be addressed yet.
Yes, it does, and I would, you know, if we don't have copies of that, I'll get them up there to the board. And that was done even prior to this. This was done by February. And I think we had answered that question prior to this because it was it was a pressing issue in the business
Right.
community in the village.
Okay.
And we responded to it. So that did come before you on the fee issue, if I recall.
It did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I believe it did.
Well, it was a temporary suspension.
Yes.
That wasn't the final, as far as.
No, but it allowed the businesses to get on with
Correct.
it. Yeah, and us to get on with it.
And, I don't know if anybody had any other, those were my only issues with what they had presented. I don't know if anybody else had any issues, otherwise we could probably move forward with this.
You?
Are you asking for some changes being made in this, or are you satisfied with the verbiage? No understanding of it.
I think you're satisfied, correct, Jim?
Yeah, if the, because the,
Go ahead.
no, yeah, if we have the separate issue with the sandwich boards, because that's what the, the businesses and the people who came were talking about.
Next
mainly.
week,
Um,
maybe.
That's how we started all this.
That is how we started all this, and the electronic signs are all clarified in here, I see that. So, there's a minor typo in the bottom where it says confirm instead of should be conform with the village on the very last sentence. But other than that, I don't see any problems with it. I mean, they cleaned up.
So about what, about that, what you want to do?
I wish Chuck was here. 'Cause,
Chuck is taking up a course.
he's taking a course, right? As far as, go ahead.
I was going to say, could this wait to our next meeting in 2 weeks? And then we could vote on it at that point, and by then Chuck would be here and
You
answer.
can't vote, we have to call for a public hearing.
Yeah.
Well, that has
Okay.
to go
Right.
for the, you have to get your seeker done, and you have to also go to the county for their planning department
Oh, okay.
to rule on it before you,
Make a decision.
right,
Mm,
before
okay.
you do that, so,
Before our public hearing?
yes.
Okay,
You
so
can't
they
have a
have-
public hearing until they get their say in this. I'm sure they're gonna come back and say it's a local concern, so
Yeah.
go ahead with it, but
So
you
it's
still
a
have to go
secret.
through that
Okay.
process.
Okay. So you want to wait 2 weeks until Chuck is here, decide that, and then send it to the county?
Will Chuck be here at a workshop next Monday?
Yeah,
Then
Oh, yeah, we have a workshop, huh? Well, then we
Address it
could
next Monday
address it
workshop.
next Monday,
Yeah,
and
let's
then
get this
have
as
it
soon as
ready.
possible.
Yeah.
Let's
Okay.
move forward with this.
Could we also have that other sidewalk policy with the signs by that time possibly? Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Then we can review it all at that time.
If that's, it certainly clears up my questions. I mean, I think,
Okay.
otherwise
makes
it looks like
sense.
they did a good job, so.
Very good.
Mayor, under old business, one thing, I'll make it real quick, it's not, it's very important, though, our brush situation in the village here. We have different things happening. At the village barns, I don't know if anybody's been driven by there lately, the pile of brush here is
It's
huge. You have
huge.
people
Huge.
from all communities dumping things there. You have contractors dumping there after hours. We need to stop dumping at the village barns one way or another. And we also have to secure the village barns so that dumping and people, not only people dumping off brush and construction stuff, but people walking away with millings or other items that are, that are there. There's property that is there. We have no way to secure what we have there. We have no way to keep people from dumping there. We need to look into very seriously stopping the policy of dumping and going back to brush pickup and chipping for village residents at the curbside. We need to secure the village barns so that people aren't dumping and stealing after hours. And
Well,
there's,
the matter of convenience for the people to drop off is, I mean, it does save our village workers time from having to pick up so much.
But-
it's costing us a fortune. We're taking stuff for this whole north end county.
Didn't we talk about
There's-
putting out cameras?
Yeah, there's one supposed.
Yeah, but
they
I'm
have
going to
one.
tell you, I got a call from a guy that owns one of the properties right next to there. He says there's people going in there at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning dumping stuff, and he hears them loading stuff onto the backs of their pickup trucks. So like Trustee Essick is saying, we got people going in there at all hours of the night. He's complaining because there's rodents,
Oh, yeah.
there's spiders and all kinds of insects that come off of that pile that are all over his property. And he says he has his property sprayed monthly. He's not afraid to give his name. So he gave me his name, phone number. He said, if anybody wants to call me, I'm more than happy to talk to them about it. But he was fed up. And I told him, I said, I had a feeling there's no way that the village is generating that kind of debris within the village of Fredonia. And if we go and go back to the way we were, which is,
I thought there was a sign, wasn't there a sign made that says that?
There's a sign.
there's
And the door can't, it can't be locked, there's no gate, there's no mechanism to lock the
it's like
gate.
it's
There's no
a,
mechanism.
There's no
Yeah.
gate.
To lock it.
Yeah.
I mean, either somebody has to be there overnight
right.
check what's going on, or have to put gates, or have
Right, I mean, this has been a problem for a long
100% not allow
Close
that
it off.
thing, stop that. There are a few steps, and nothing is simple.
I know.
And this is ridiculous, because if you go there, there are huge piles, yes,
Right.
that's correct, huge
So
piles.
in addition to that, working on trying to make some room maybe on Webster Road temporarily. I know we were talking about
Yes,
getting a
we
tub
are.
grinder in there and grinding everything up. That's not financially feasible at the moment, but
Well-
we have to stop also dumping up there on Eagle Street because contractors are dumping there in the right-of-way, and our code enforcement officer told me that he has informed them that they're dumping illegally, and he will fine or cite them that as well. So I think that would alleviate that problem. It might alleviate, if we're chipping everything up to begin with from the curb, you're reducing the amount of space that you need up on Webster Road. So I think I think this is a serious situation we need to address, probably sooner than later, especially at the Department of Public Works securing that facility, because not only are people dumping illegally, which is costing the village residents, they're also stealing product, and who knows what they're doing there
We have to
after
put a
hours,
gate
so.
there, and the
Yeah.
gate has been in their budget for years, as I understand it, and every year we take it off because we can't pay for it. I mean, that's, everything goes back
Is
to
it
money.
still
and
There's
I
two
understand.
there's two
Two
entries off
entries,
of Cushing
yeah.
Street.
Right.
There's another entry on Eagle
On
Street
Eagle,
that needs to have
Or
gating.
two on Cushions, you're right.
Right,
One
there are
Cushing.
two.
Yeah,
That's
you're
right.
right.
Need a
So-
gate? We
need
And
to
one
see
on
one
Eagle,
together.
they need to have gating put on there, because otherwise people will just go in there and dump, whether you say no more dumping or not.
A
It's
sign's not-
obvious,
It's
right,
not
a
working.
sign
Sign
isn't gonna
clearly
do
is
it,
not
because
working.
like I said, this guy says, I hear them 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the
Well,
morning
can
out
he
there.
go out and take a picture and send it to us?
Oh, he
Well,
could, but
he
he's
could,
getting out of bed.
Maybe the police could
I would put
patrol
responsibility on
a little bit, I mean, I
Yeah,
don't
he
know.
could, but probably by the time the police get there, they're in and out of there, so, but, he.
Certainly needs to be dealt with.
I'm gonna pass his name and phone number around to all the boards, so that you guys can feel free to call. He said he's more than willing to talk to you and tell you what he sees going on over there. And, I think Mr. Essex's idea is a good one. Let's go back to chipping at the curbside. Yes, it takes us longer to do that, but in the long run, it's saving us money, because the tub grinder is gonna cost us,
A lot.
what the number was that we came up with just for this
Because
time.
people are abusing the
And
system.
we just had it up there a
Yeah, I
couple
know.
years ago. I think we paid like $30,000 to have the tub grinder go out there and grind this stuff.
All right, so
I mean,
if we're moving that stuff up there, I mean, it's
Yeah.
costing us,
Well,
in trucking too.
Yeah,
from
and
there-
to tell you
You're
that
right.
too, because I was talking to Perry
So where's the
last
balance,
week,
right?
and he
It's
said
gonna
that they
be
worked
probably
on it
cheaper.
all day Friday. He says they didn't even put a dent in that. He
No,
said
I
that we
believe
hauled
it.
all
It's
day
huge.
long.
It's a huge, it's a mountain there, yeah.
Yes, he
I
said
believe
we
it.
hauled all day long, and we never even put a dent in that pile.
And then we're gonna get up to Webster Road and still have to tub grind it.
Yeah.
Because we have to make space eventually up there
Yeah.
anyhow.
So does he think it's
And
a
that's
good
somebody
idea?
else's product.
Yeah, he said
go
he
back?
never agreed in the first place, but he agrees that should stop. He said that pile just has run its course.
Can we then
Dumper
now-
closed theirs down for the same reason. People were just dumping
So should
everything
we
and anything.
stop it
on
now?
those piles.
Yeah, so
Can we stop
that's
it
not,
now?
yeah,
I
just
mean-
say,
Mhm.
give Perry the okay to say.
Do we
no
need
more.
to pass a resolution or
We
just?
could, well, yeah, we'd pass a resolution, and then we'd have to somehow barricade, and I talked to him regarding reappropriating some of his capital money. Now, he has a couple projects that he said he's not going to be able to get to this year, so we could reappropriate that money to the fencing and to the chipping,
Okay,
and then maybe get the property secured, pass a couple resolutions, and maybe even an ordinance regarding dumping in that area,
Yeah.
because
It's a
you
real
may
shame,
get
'cause
people
that-
that
the
come
site
and
was
they
looking
throw it
really
out
good
in
until
front of
now.
the gate.
Yeah, in the
No,
past
so it
month
looks
and a
pretty
half or
good,
2
yeah.
months, it just went crazy. So,
Yeah.
yes, if you would follow
We
through
have
on
had a lot
that,
of
please.
bad weather, and a
And-
lot of down trees.
What's that, Karen?
I just, said I mean, there's no excuse for businesses dumping their stuff in there,
No.
that's just absolutely wrong. We have had a lot more downed trees and branches, I mean, not enough to make it
Yeah.
that bad, but the weather has been crazy with all the branches
Yeah.
and stuff.
And I want to know, where's that camera? We've talked about
Right,
this
we
sometime.
Yeah,
we
we
talked about
never-
this for
Yeah.
the better part of the year.
It goes in the
Never-
budget and then gets pulled because it's like not a.
Okay, I thought they had it, but
I
it wasn't
thought
hooked,
they
it
did.
wasn't
I
connected.
No.
thought so too.
I thought they
Yeah.
had one. When Jack was here, I
Jack-
thought we
I thought
discussed it.
Jack
Jack
said
said
that
that he had the camera, it wasn't put up.
I think we need to
They said
ask.
something like that last year, something about a camera that it was never
Put up.
but I never found any.
Let's find out.
It may have been, yeah, they don't have the camera, I know that for sure.
Okay.
It would flow through my desk before it goes into that. I know for sure we
Okay.
never bought a camera.
Okay,
Maybe what he meant was that it was put in the budget and they never bought the camera.
could be.
And then once that happens, unless you reappropriate that money toward that thing, that just rolls back to your fund balance. So so it disappears and then you have to reappropriate.
Yep.
You can't, you don't roll those things.
Well, let's,
forward.
let's do what you said.
Okay.
Let's pass an ordinance or do whatever we need to do
that's
to
right.
stop them from dumping anything and reappropriate some money to put gates or fence or whatever we need to do to put some fence there. But you agree with that?
I think that's what we should do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Assett, great.
We do have to go into executive
I
session
know.
before
We
the
do,
meeting,
and
I'm
we have to
sorry.
apologize for
But
that.
it'll be quick.
It will be
won't.
very quick, yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
We
Trustee
need-
Jones.
we need you to-
There you go.
I hereby make a motion to enter into executive session as authorized by Section 105(1)F of the Public Officers Law to discuss personnel matters leading to the employment of a particular person.
Second.
Trustee Crilly? No, she's not a trustee, so
She's not yet. She can't vote.
Trustee Christina?
Yes.
Trustee Linden?
Aye.
Trustee Jones?
Aye.
Trustee Assett?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At a regular meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Fredonia, duly called and held on the 11th day of September 2017 at 8:10 p.m. in the Trustees Room, second floor, Village Hall, Fredonia, New York, and public notice of the time and place of this meeting has been given to the news media and conspicuously posted in one or more designated public locations in accordance with Section 104 of the Open Meeting Law.
Whereas members of this board present at this meeting have read the official minutes of the Board of Trustees' regular meeting of August 14th, 2017. Now therefore be it resolved, this board approves the minutes as entered into the official minutes, and be it further resolved that the reading of the minutes be dispensed with.
I second that.
Trustee Christina?
I have to abstain, I was not here for that meeting.
Yes. Trustee Linden?
Aye.
Trustee Jones?
Aye.
Trustee Assett?
Yes.
This one?
This one,
I don't have it.
That's you? Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't know where it is. Whereas former trustee Mark Rockman submitted to the village board his resignation as village trustee by letter stating he was resigning his office as village trustee effective immediately, and whereas the village board of trustees accepted trustee Rockman's resignation at a public meeting of the board held on June 12, 2017, to be effective June 12, 2017, and his position as trustee remains vacant. Whereas Article 2, Section 14, subsection 2 of Village Charter states it is the duty of the village board to fill any vacancy in the office of village trustee by appointing a suitable person to fill the unexpired term in the vacant position of trustee until the next succeeding general election, which takes place November 7, 2017. Now therefore be it resolved that Catherine Creeley, 86 Howard Street, Fredonia, New York, is hereby appointed village trustee effective September 11, 2017, and ending December 31, 2017, as provided by subsection 2 of Section 14 of Article 2 of the Charter of the Village of Fredonia.
Second.
Trustee Christina?
Yes.
Trustee Linden?
Aye.
Trustee Jones?
Aye.
Trustee Essig?
Yes.
Thank you.
I, Catherine Creeley,
I, Catherine
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of trustee,
and I will faithfully
Discharge.
discharge the duties of trustee
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So let's go to the reports.
We have the building inspector's report somewhere in here. Building inspector's report for the month of July. We have total fees collected of $5,132.28. There were 3 stop work orders issued, 48 permits generated $4,187.28 in revenue, with an estimated cost of the work for the month was $563,625. The second report is the Justice Report for the month of August 2017. There was $12,201 in fees, parking tickets, surcharges, and fines. Total cases were 163, 2 ABC laws, 3 civil cases, village ordinances 13, criminal cases 54, and V&T 91. And that's it for reports.
Thank you. A letter of resignation was received from Scott Hennessy, resigning his position effective October the 29th, 2017, for the purpose of retirement.
Be it resolved that the resignation of Scott Hennessy as wastewater treatment plant operator trainee is here 2017 for the purpose of retirement, and the mayor is hereby authorized to write a letter to Mr. Hennessy thanking him for his 11 years of service to the village.
I second.
Trustee Greeley?
Yes.
Trustee Christina?
Yes.
Trustee Linden?
Aye.
Trustee Jones?
Aye.
Trustee Essig?
Yes.
A letter of resignation was received from Timothy W. Franzen, resigning his position effective September the 22nd, 2017.
Be it resolved that the resignation of Timothy Franzen as part-time police officer is hereby accepted effective September 22nd, 2017. The mayor is hereby authorized to write a letter to Mr. Franzen thanking him for his service to the village of Fredonia.
Second.
Trustee Greeley.
Yes.
Trustee Christina.
Yes.
Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Jones.
Aye.
Trustee Essek.
Yes.
Correspondence was received from Timothy Winters, President of Fredonia Professional Firefighters Association, thanking the board for their support of their 4th annual Fill the Boot Drive and informing them that $5,305.66 was raised to benefit the Muscular Dystrophy Association, ALS. Correspondence was received from Darren B. Paskey, principal of Fredonia High School, requesting permission to hold a homecoming parade and bonfire Thursday, September the 28th, 2017, commencing in front of Village Hall at 7 p.m. and proceeding up West Main Street to Access Road between the playground and football field.
Be it resolved that the request of Darren B. Paschke, principal of Fredonia High School, to hold a homecoming parade commencing in front of Village Hall on Church Street, and proceeding up West Main Street and ending at the access road between the playground and football field, where a bonfire will take place in the parking lot of the Wheelock School campus on Thursday, September 28, 2017, beginning at 7 p.m., per his letter received September 11, 2017, is hereby approved, subject to the
Well, you assume the Fredonia Police Department? It's not on there, but I assume.
Subject to the,
Subject to?
I'm assuming the
to the
Fredonia.
receipt of the village.
No,
no.
No.
no, yeah, it's subject to the, yeah, yeah. I'm trying to think of the wording.
Receipt of a
I don't know
certificate
why
of
it's not there.
So I'll second that with the correction of the police department. Is that
Can we do
Yeah,
that?
at the direction of the police
Direction of,
department.
direction of.
Okay,
Okay.
subject to the direction of the police department.
second?
Trustee Greeley.
Yes.
Trustee Christina.
Yes.
Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Jones.
Aye.
Trustee Essek.
Yes.
Thank you. And we now at the public portion. If anybody from the public wants to tell us something, ask a question, or give us a tip, please.
My name is Betsy White, and I'm here on behalf of the Fredonia Food Pantry. And once again, we're going to conduct the Fredonia Food Challenge, the Feeding Fredonia Challenge, the week of October 16th. And we'll be contacting the businesses and asking for their support to be drop-off points. We'll be obviously asking the community to assist us in doing the food collection. Just to let you know that there still is a great need in this community for the food pantry. This year alone, we've already distributed all the food that was collected last year. And right now, the rural ministry is supporting the food pantry with their own supplies of food. And then last year, we distributed the food, the equivalent of 4,000 meals, or 325 bags of food. So there continues to be a great need in this community, and we've had such a wonderful response over the last 3 years, and we're sure we're going to have the same wonderful response this year. We're asking that the village board and the mayor once again endorse the effort and support the community in pursuing this.
Actually, thank you very much on behalf of our board for your efforts. This is an excellent thing that you're doing for the poor of our community. Thank you so very much.
We appreciate the support of the board and the mayor, and as well as the businesses and the community, because it's a very much joint effort by everybody to make it a success.
Indeed. Anybody else? All right, we close the public portion and go to resolutions.
Excuse me. A resolution authorizing the insurance of $240,000 bond of the Village of Fredonia, Chautauqua County, New York, to pay the cost of the purchase of heavy equipment for said village. A copy of the bond resolution is attached to and made part of these minutes.
A second.
Trustee Greeley.
Yes.
Trustee Christina.
Yes.
Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Jones.
Aye.
Trustee Essek.
Yes.
Be it resolved that the regular and overtime payroll of the various village departments and bills approved by the Finance Committee and set forth in Abstract 492 and Abstract 493 are hereby approved and directed paid.
I second.
Trustee Greeley.
Yes.
Trustee Christina.
Yes.
Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Jones.
Aye.
Trustee Essek.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whereas Chautauqua County Office of Emergency Services, with the assistance from Ecology and Environment Incorporated, has gathered information and prepared the Chautauqua County Multi-Jurisdictional All-Hazard Mitigation Plan. And whereas the Chautauqua County Multi-Jurisdictional All-Hazard Mitigation Plan has been prepared in accordance with the Disaster Mitigation Act of 2000, and whereas the Village of Fredonia has reviewed and updated the plan related to the Village of Fredonia and affirms that the plan will be updated no less than every 5 years, now therefore be it resolved that the Village of Fredonia adopts the Chautauqua County Multi-Jurisdictional All-Hazard Mitigation Plan as this jurisdiction's natural hazard mitigation plan, and resolves to execute the actions as specified in the plan.
Second.
Trustee Greeley?
Yes.
Trustee Christina?
Yes.
Trustee Linden?
Aye.
Trustee Jones?
Aye.
Trustee Essek?
Yes.
Thank you.
Be it resolved that the village hereby retains the law firm of Mark C. Butler, PLLC of Williamsville, New York, regarding legal services for counsel and assistance related to creation of a paid fire chief position at a cost not to exceed $3,500 unless approved by this board, and travel time at $150 per hour for travel in excess of 50 miles. And be it further resolved that the mayor is hereby authorized to sign a letter agreement with said law firm on behalf of the Village of Fredonia regarding this retainer.
Second.
Trustee Greeley?
Yes.
Trustee Christina?
Yes.
Trustee Linden?
Aye.
Trustee Jones?
Aye.
Trustee Essek?
Yes.
Be it resolved that Jonathan Roy of 92 Point Drive North, Dunkirk, is hereby hired as a seasonal laborer to work with the Department of Public Works at an hourly rate of pay of $9.70, effective September 12, 2017, subject to civil service rules and regulations, and with no other benefits to be given.
Second.
Trustee Greeley?
Yes.
Trustee Christina?
Yes.
Trustee Linden?
Aye.
Trustee Jones?
Aye.
Trustee Essek?
Yes. Be it resolved that Tyson Cugino, 7920 Barnum Road, Casadega, New York, is hereby appointed to the position of part-time police officer effective September 12, 2017, on an as-needed basis at a rate of pay of $14 per hour with no other benefits, subject to all civil service rules and regulations.
I second.
Trustee Greeley?
Yes.
Trustee Christina?
Yes.
Trustee Linden?
Aye.
Trustee Jones?
Aye.
Trustee Essek?
Yes. Be it resolved that Jacob Berger, 20 Lakeview Avenue, Fredonia, New York, is hereby appointed to the position of part-time police officer effective September 13, 2017, on an as-needed basis at a rate of pay of $14 per hour with no other benefits, subject to all civil service rules and regulations.
I second.
Trustee Greeley?
Yes.
Trustee Christina?
Yes.
Trustee Linden?
Aye.
Trustee Jones?
Aye.
Trustee Essek?
Yes. Be it resolved that the board hereby endorses the Feeding Fredonia Challenge to be held this year from October 16 through October 20, 2017.
I second.
Trustee Greeley?
Yes.
Trustee Christina?
Yes.
Trustee Linden?
Aye.
Trustee Jones?
Aye.
Trustee Essek?
Yes.
Whereas the Village of Fredonia previously approved a 10-year lease at a meeting of the Board of Trustees on November 28, 2016 with the Darwin R. Barker Library Association of Fredonia, New York Library for the premises owned by the Village at 7 Day Street, Fredonia, New York, and whereas the lease term for the period beginning December 1, 2016 and ending November 30, 2026, and whereas the library has requested a 2-year extension to the lease through November 30th, 2028 for a grant application opportunity to pay for the replacement of carpet, heating, and air conditioning units, and the upgrading of the public restrooms at a total cost of $105,687. Now therefore be it resolved that the lease extension is hereby approved through November 30th, 2028, and the mayor is hereby authorized to send a letter to the library notifying them of this change, and the lease agreement is hereby amended to reflect this change.
Second.
Trustee Greeley?
Yes.
Trustee Christina?
Yes.
Trustee Linden?
Aye.
Trustee Jones?
Aye.
Trustee Essek?
Yes.
Thank you. Now I have some things to, we have one more.
One more.
Yeah. Be it resolved that Perry Mitchell is hereby promoted to the position of Street Supervisor, Street Commissioner, effective immediately on a provisional basis pending the taking and passing of the civil service test and subject to civil service rules and regulation, and subject to a probationary period of 6 months at an annual salary of $62,000.
I second that.
Trustee Greeley?
Yes.
Trustee Christina?
Yes.
Trustee Linden?
Aye.
Trustee Jones?
Aye.
Trustee Essek?
Yes.
Thank you. I just would very quickly to mention some things. First of all, we had some collection of donations for Hurricane Harvey down here in Fredonia on Barker Common on Thursday, and it was a day with a lot of rain and a lot of wind. And I have to say, so many people came with all that rain and all that bad weather and brought everything you can imagine, formula for kids, diapers, paper goods, some clothing, a lot of food. So I really want to thank these people for taking the opportunity and responding to that. Really, really, really is an incredible community that we live in. Now, we have some new businesses in Fredonia, and I would like to mention them. First of all, we have a Mexican restaurant, as you all know, and I don't want to murder the name. It's like El Molcajete. Oh, right. Okay, so El Molcajete.
Molcajete. I asked him when I was there how to pronounce it.
So it's a Mexican restaurant.
It's a Mexican restaurant on Main Street. Is excellent food, very nice people, live music when I went. Really loved it. So that's one. There is Till You Drop Shop that we had on Friday. We had the grand opening. It's a consignment store on 4 Main Street, or 4 East Main Street. It's a very sweet little, it's not a little store, it looks little, but you go in and you walk in, there are many, many rooms with a lot of merchandise. I wish them the best. And then there is a Spot and a Spell, actually a tea shop. I just stopped a little while ago. It's a very charming little store. Harry Potter is the theme in there. You go and you find very good teas, and the herbal teas actually are local. It's a woman with a Native American grandparent, I think, who actually collects everything and puts them in nice vases and all that. Very nice, nice people. They're planning a lot of activities for Halloween and all that. So that's a very good shop as well. And then we have Lisa Boyle Photography on Boardwalk. I just stopped by the store. She wasn't there, but nevertheless, we wish them the best as well. And there's another one coming up, but I wait for them to open and then
There's also
announce it.
Fairy Tale Farm, Learning What Else.
That was the one.
Oh, I'm sorry. But there's also another one in that same block, in the next block up that's opening soon? It's
Okay.
furniture and.
Right, somebody's getting there. We need some retail. We definitely need a pharmacy downtown. It was my hope. But anyways, I'm very glad we having this, some good news for you. Also, Thursday at 7 o'clock, is going to be a parade starting from the clock at the college. The college actually celebrating the first and hopefully annual Founders Day, where we're going to talk about and celebrate the connection between the college and the village. The parade is starting at the college. Hopefully the weather will cooperate. We'll come here and we will have a kind of a celebration with actors, local people who are playing the actors and all that, music, and some refreshment afterwards at the Opera House. Everybody's invited. Please be there. It will be a nice celebration for all. That's it. That's some good news.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Trustee Crilly.
Yes.
Trustee Christina.
Yes.
Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Jones.
Yeah.
Trustee Essek.
Yes.
Thank you very much for coming.
I thought that was at the college.